Hello, fellow creators. It's Bluebrad here. I just came across somebody wanting to know how to create this ray background that points to a central point. So I wanted to go over how I create that and then how I have it repeatable or very editable even in the end. So the first thing I do is I start off with a circle in the other center of my artboard. Doesn't matter the size because we're going to adjust everything else later on. Then I'm going to go with my straight line tool and I'm just going to draw a straight line from center. Oop, I'm going to deselect. Straight line from center to the edge of the circle. Then I'm going to, with it selected, I'm going to hit enter. And then, actually, let's do it this way. I have my appearance palette that I'm going to pull out here. So the first thing I'm going to do is in my appearance palette, there doesn't need to be any fill or anything, but you can put a stroke on this temporarily, and then we'll take it off later. I'm going to do the same thing for this. I'm just going to put a stroke on it temporarily, just so that we can see what we're doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is come back to this center line. Doesn't matter if I have the stroke selected, but in your appearance palette, you should see what you have selected on your layer. Then go Effects, Distort and Transform, Transform. And the reason why I do this is because it depends on how many rays you want. Normally, 12 going from top to bottom is pretty good, but you can double it to 24. I just recommend 12. So if we go 12 degrees and then we start doing copies, you'll notice that it's replicating itself. So it's actually 15, sorry. So we have 15 from top to bottom at 12 degrees. And then if you want to cut it in half or double it, you do 6 degrees. And then you have even sharper rays. But technically, like I said, you don't really need to do that. Normally 12 degrees at 14 duplicates. All right. Then I'm going to hit OK. And then you can, if you want to save this so you can start over again, you could do that and make a copy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and I'm going to flatten transparency. But I'm going to make sure strokes do not go to outline. And then with everything selected, make sure there's no fill and the strokes are all identical black. And then the other thing I want to do is make sure all the strokes are 1 point. You can do that up here. Now from here, I just hit the K key. Oops, I'm inside there. Hit the K key without you being inside. And then the first color I'm going to do is the bright blue. I'm going to double click on it and I'm going to turn it to global. And you can name this color 1. So that way you can come back to it and reference it. It doesn't matter what color mode you're in because you can always come back and change it. So if I want like 100% cyan, I can do that. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in every other one. What I could have done is done one and then duplicate it and do all that. As you saw, that took only a few seconds. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to label it color 2. And then I'm going to color that in. Now the reason why I made sure that they're a dynamic swatch and then I'm doing this just so I can see it, I'm going to select this, and now that I have the fill in, I can turn off the stroke. And as you see here, it's perfect. But we want to match these colors. So what I'm going to do is bring these forward so that way I know that those are the colors I'm working with. Then I'm going to hit the eyedropper tool. I'm going to get the first color, which is the light color. Then with that color selected in my fill swatch here, I'm going to hold Control or Alt or Option, or I think it's Alt on both computers. It's one of the options on Mac, but it's Alt on PC. and you drag and drop it over the original color. And for some reason, it did not do it. I do not know why, actually. So I'm going to redo them all. I do not know what happened there and why it didn't keep the swatch color there. So let me double check to make sure that is going to do it. Yeah, that was weird that it didn't apply that swatch as a swatch. Then I'm going to eyedrop, get the darker one. Huh. Maybe I had to expand it first. Well, if that's the case that you have that issue, you can have it selected, hit your color wheel, and then when this option comes up, hit advanced, and then you'll get the menu to modify the color. Just double click on the color, select swatches, and then you can select from your swatch library. Normally what I try to do also is I come in here and I delete all of the extra colors I do not need because there is no reason to have them. It doesn't really save document space. It just helps you organize what you're working on. And then what I would do is I would normally come in and eyedrop all my other colors and make sure that those swatches are also a global swatch. Because if it was correct, without it being selected, let's say I wanted to change the color to a bright pink, right? I can come in here and quickly adjust that color now. And that's why I use dynamic colors. But now we want to match this style here, so I can quickly come in here and grab a square from the center, get it close to the edge, and then we just select the underneath layer, make clippy mask, and there we go. So that will give us now our square, and as you see, if I scale it, it really didn't matter. That's why I was saying if you do more lines, it's just as if you zoomed in or zoomed out. And now it's an object. And now what I could do is Control C and then Control B and then apply a stroke, get that, and then to get this drop effect, what we do is we cheat here. We do a black square, and then I go Effects, Distort Transform, Transform, and now it's moving very small increments. So I go 0.01, 0.01, and then we can scale up the copies until we get the same look that we have there. Good. And then I'm going to go Effects, Path, Offset Path, 4 point. So it matches the edge of the stroke. If you were to really zoom in here, you'll have the little wavy edge. It's not going to be a perfect edge, but this gets that look that you have here. Or you could do it with no copies. So I could select this here, go back into the transform, and I just do one copy, but then I change the scaling. And then as you see here is it touches and then goes out again. So it's more of what I just did now, but if you really wanted to, you can manipulate that there. So that's how you get that little bit of a look there. And then if you want an inside cut on the edge here, I can show you how you get that too. What I'm going to do is with my layers palette here, I'm going to find the clipping mask. I'm going to copy it, paste it back. So now it's in back. And then I'm going to shrink it by this way. So I'm holding Shift down and shrinking it in. And then I'm going to Control C, Control B again, bring it out past my edge, select the two, and then I'm going to use my Pathfinder and I'm going to extrude from center. So that way the center is out. And then what I'm going to do is apply that black. And then in my appearance palette here, with that selected, I'm going to do normal to multiply. And then I'm going to bring it down to 10%. And then double click out. So now I got that little edge there. And then you can keep going from there. If you really wanted to get fancy, there is a way you can get this effect to be trapped within the actual object, but depending on your scale, it's going to get bad, but that was the quickest way. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, and I hope everybody stays creative.